I understand like why they get you of all people, because it seems like you have the vibe, like you understand exactly what each student is going through. And it's very often that some older teachers or some older profs, they don't really have the same understanding as to what
Totoo yan.
their
Totoo
students are
yan,
going
Matt.
through, especially during the pandemic and online learning, no? So I guess yung question ko is, how do you understand where these kids are coming from, or where these students are coming from? Why do you always have like um this parang you're tapped into the vein of what they're feeling
Yeah.
at all times?
Parang hindi ka ba natatakot, Docu? Right? I mean, one wrong word,
Minsan,
like you mentioned, di ba?
minsan natatakot ako. I'll be very, very blunt. Mental health is real, and mental health has to be taken seriously. Okay? Guys, Lance, yes. I rallied the Ateneo faculty to care for students' mental health before mental health became a buzzword. So I did it in before pumasok ka, Lance, 2012, 2013, inaano ko na yung faculty.
Yeah.
Why? Because at that point, I think I was getting sick because I was already doing, at that point, almost 100 students were coming to me for
Oh my
consultation,
God.
not about math. I wish it were about math. In the 80s and 90s, it was about math. Ang dali-dali i-handle kung math. Kasi upuan mo lang, turuan mo, and then kaya na. This is not about math. They told me about their quarrels with your parents. That's the number one, guys. I'll just say it. I don't know if parents are doing the podcast. I'm really very sorry, parents. I'm a parent myself. I don't, the data I have just comes from my own data. In Ateneo, I'm not sure if Ateneo even did a survey of what causes the mental health problems, but in my own data, I'm sorry to say, parents, big chunk of it is because of conflict with family. Yan yung number one cause of mental health. They're of course the worst ones that make me cry and talagang I need admin help na. So not very common, but there have been cases of sexual abuse. Ako, iiyak kayo. I don't want to go there. Uh, and more commonly, emotional abuse. Okay? But emotional abuse is very subjective. Eh. Kasi especially for Chinese, di ba? The way Filipino-Chinese parents
Tough
uh,
love.
tough love, eh, iba eh. So it doesn't mean that they're abusing. I have to tell that to the kids. I said, your parents love you. Marami akong ganyan ako. Ibang ano rin kung Filipino Chinese kasi iba yung context, 'di ba?
Iba yung, yeah.
So they've been seeing me for years and I'm getting sick. And I'm getting inis because I stay late, I don't get paid extra. But because I tell myself if these kids have mental health issues, if something is troubling them, how can they even concentrate on math or psychology on whatever? Di ba
Exactly.
parang, I have to help them. Di ba? No choice. Pupukingin ko, magalit ako, walang mangyayari. So, tulungan ko na lang. Di ba? That's very, very logical. So, yun. Pero ang hirap. Kasi you have to take isa-isa to. Hindi ito lang isang klase, di ba? And their stories are similar but not exactly the same. And I try to limit it to 15 minutes. Nako, all the time. It's overtime. And there was one point, I think I was doing 6 or 7 kids in a day on top of all my overload and in top of the inquiry. So I was getting sick, physically sick. So I talked to Father Nebres, who told me he was not surprised because he was on the board of Georgetown. He said, Queena, Georgetown and the American universities have been grappling with mental health, and we are 10 years behind, but we're also now, sabi niya, because Ateneo is very, very American in that way, okay?
Yeah.
Our clients are very American. Definitely my mental health problems then. So he told me to tap faculty. So I did. I said something to faculty. I called for faculty volunteers. I told faculty that students actually prefer talking to faculty often than guidance. Okay, yan yun. And I told faculty, do not worry, don't keep on saying you're not trained because we're going to train you. And sabi ko, we are not going to train you to be licensed psychologists. We're going to train you to listen, and when needed, you will refer to guidance who will refer, if needed, to an outside professional. So yan yon. Pero sabi ko, hindi na pwede lahat
Yeah.
ako. Okay? The good thing is there are. So around 50 faculty, 50, no ano to volunteer to no extra pay. Around 50 faculty joined me. So for the next few years in Escalier Hall, the admin and I were doing, I taught my students. They love it. Kasi ang dami ko estudyante by mental health, di ba? Sabi ko, oh guys, yung mga medyo okay na. Sabi ko, guys, let us play act what you were doing with me. Ang gusto nila. So they were play acting in front of the faculty. They don't even have to play act because those were the things that were happening. They felt so proud and they felt so useful. And and many of them, I asked them to talk about what made them have mental health so that the faculty knows this is happening. So, dami, I think I got 20 students who readily said yes, who did it. So we were doing it for a year. Including with JJ Somlans. Nandiyan sila Ali Yap, nandiyan sila,
Yeah,
meron.
yeah.
So I started giving Ali some of the, Ali, yung mga JJ Som ko, bigay ko na sa'yo, namamalit ako, bigay ko na
Ikaw
sa'yo.
naman.
Ganun
Yeah.
na, di ba? So Mike Tan, Mike also knows, Mike is also, So yun. So that was how it, why am I attuned? Guys, one, because students tell me anything. They tell me everything. Sometimes TMI pa nga eh. There are things I don't want to know. I said, guys, come on, don't tell me this. Mom, I said, no, I don't want to know. Pero but then they just have to get it off their chest. And then sometimes they'll swear me to secrecy. Sabi ko, guys, I cannot promise you secrecy. If you're going to kill yourself, I will not. I will definitely tell the admin. Yung ginaganon ko na. Sabi ko, parang just The students I find, many of the parents tell me when I give parenting talks that their kids don't communicate with them. I do get it. So yung parang I'm the When I talk to the students, I will tell them, you hate your parents, but your parents are actually very, very worried about you. If you lock yourself up in your room with a gadget, and then they ask you, what did you do the whole day? And you told them nothing. So I said, your parents are angry. So parang when I talk to the kids, I'll tell, your parents are strict because you are not performing well. I said, you're a D student and your parents want, I said, fine. It might be unrealistic for your parents to always want you to get an A. I said, pero can you get a C? Ginagato ko na. C lang.
Average man lang.
Sabi ko, sa mga dali-dali makasi, no? Kung hindi ka mag-cut, gawin mo lang isang paper, magsisi ka na. Sabi ko, ang dali-dali. So, that's so, and then they do sometimes respond, some of them don't. But when I talk to parents, in parental, I would tell them, parents naman, the kids keep on saying the reason why they don't want to talk to you is all you want now is their grades. And some of the students tell me that they're being used as bragging rights by you. Sabi ko, kung ako yung anak ninyo, ayaw ko rin, di ba? Makiusap sa inyo. So when I talk to the kids, I defend the parents. When I talk to the parents, I defend the kids. I have to let them meet somehow because that's the biggest problem in mental health. We did lose people in mental health before the pandemic. 80% of the time, it was a family conflict. The other 20%, we don't know the reason why. But they just ended their life. And I always feel it is not natural for a student to go before the teacher. So I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So I have to be there. But Lance, it is scary. It is exhausting. I have boundaries. I do not give out unless sobrang my cell phone to the kids. And I told them, parang guys, diretso na sabi ko, guys, the Ateneo, we made sure that there are hotlines and protocol. So guys, I am hoping that you will not kill yourself while I'm sleeping. If you do, I will mourn you. I will cry because I do care for you. I said, but I'm not going to give you my cell phone. Ganun na, parang, if you're struggling with something at midnight, then you have to call the Ateneo hotline. Because I am not, I said, I have to sleep. I said, I have to teach a class the next day. Yun na. And most of the time, the students do understand. So the students actually are, I find your generation, the generation now, to be actually very honest. So when the adults say that they keep on lying, of course, many people cheat. Nako, sa pandemic, Lance, grabe, cheating was rampant.
Yeah.
At least I hope not in my classes kasi tinakot ko yung mga bata. Sabi ko, maya talaga kayo. If you cheat, pinaiyak ko sila na parang kawawa ako, ganyan. So I think they didn't want to make awa me. So, they decided not to cheat. But cheating was rampant. But at least with the students I have, they are so open to me. So Matt, when you ask, Lance, when you ask, how am I attuned? Simple, because they tell me almost everything, even things I don't want to know. They do tell me, which is sad, because if they tell me, it means that they have no one else to talk to. Doon ako naiinis. Bakit ako? I'm just their math teacher. I'm even very strict. They know that. Ay, grabe. I'm very strict. And yet they still tell me, Mom, can we talk to you? Tapos yan na. Mom, okay, the next one would be this one. Ay nako, this one. Another cause for mental problems. Di ko alam kung matatawa kayo, pero romantic relationships. Ano ba yan? Okay. Ano ba? Ano
Nako.
ba? Okay,
Nako.
nakaka, alam mo, okay,
Heartbroken.
I will tell you this. This happened before the pandemic. This is just funny. Okay? So on February 14, and I did not know it was February 14 because I'm married, guys. I have a kid. Parang, my husband and I love each other, but we don't really mark Valentine's. Diba? So, and there are classes on February 14. So I went
Yeah.
to school on February 14, not knowing it was February 14. Nako, two of my female students were there. Okay? Ma'am, we have to talk to you. Akala ko, ano nangyari?
Oh no.
Takot ako, di ba? Tapos, ayan. And I do the sessions in the math department. So there's the Ma'am, what is wrong with us? Guys, ganun na. Sabi ko, nothing. And they're not my current students. They were my former students.
Grabe,
Guys,
no?
quite well last year, and weren't you happy with your? Mom, it's not about the grade. Mom, you have to tell us the truth because you're the only one we trust, which is Katie, diba? What is wrong with us? I said, there's nothing wrong with you. Mom naman. I said, there's nothing wrong with you. Are you guys flunking now? Mom, we're not. I said, so what do you mean? Mom, you know our barkada, right? I know them, 6 people, 6 girls.
Yeah.
Right? They did a report in psychology, which was quite good. Mom, you know ganyan. I said, yes. Mom, there is something wrong with us. Because the other four, they said the names, okay? They have boyfriends, Mom. I said, good for them. Mom, but what's wrong with us? I said, nothing wrong with you. But Mom, we're about to graduate. Yan na, di ba? And we don't have a boyfriend. I said, it's just not the time. I said, are your standards higher? No, Mom. I said, really? Alam mo, so that I felt frustrated, they felt frustrated. That was one session that didn't make any of us happy. I couldn't give them what was wrong with them because I didn't think there was anything wrong with them. They thought I was too nice, that I wasn't saying what was wrong with them. Pero ganon, guys. Ganon na. Parang, and then I told them, why are you so And this was before the pandemic. That's why maybe a little bit, nako, February, March na tayo, no? Nangyari ba to February 14? Galit na galit sila kasi daw before the pandemic, there's this custom in Ateneo we're in. They would get, di ba, somebody would come to the class and give you a singing telegram with a rose or
Oh,
something.
wow.
And parang,
Oh, wow.
lagi wala sila. Eh, so parang yung kaibigan nila laging meron singing telegram. Sila wala. But guys, it is that scary. They're not exactly depressed, but for two good students to demand from me what was wrong with them. And there was nothing wrong. They really, really, they felt kasi a relationship would define them. Diba? In
Oh.
that silly thing in that Renee Zellweger, Jerry Maguire film, you complete me. Sorry, I'll use that's BS. You don't complete me. You have to be complete. So X is complete, Y
Ako,
is
maganda ka.
complete. Then they come X plus Y. You don't want one half
Ganda.
X plus one half Y, wala nang mangyayari. Diba? Yan na yun. Pero yun, so parental conflict, number one problem. Romantic relationships actually is number two. Academic and teacher, not for depression. Nobody gets depressed if they get low. They get anxious. They get angry. They slam the
Yeah.
teacher line, but they won't kill themselves. Yan yun. So for academic, not so. Iba. It's more of anxiety rather than depression. So those three. By the way, guys, the fourth one, which is a bit scary now in the pandemic, peers. Apparently, some people say they're being bullied, even if I tell them I don't think there's a lot of bullying going around Ateneo College. But some
Oh.
people are more sensitive than others to
Yeah.
bullying. Parang Kung hindi lang sila kunwari, bullying daw 'to, pero para sa akin hindi. They ano daw, they message their friend and their friend did not answer them. So that's not really bullying. Maybe your friend didn't get the message. But then they now spin, di ba? They overthink and then they think baka ito nagagalit yung friends. Yung ganon, parang yan na. So guys, that's the one. Parang mental health. To the adults listening here, it is real. To the teachers listening here, you have to respond to your students' mental health because they
Yeah.
cannot do well in class if their mental health is shot. But also to the students, please also develop a bit of resilience with the help, not on your own, with the help of your family, with the help of your good friends, not do positive peer pressure rather than negative peer pressure, with the help of your family members who care. If you are in conflict with your parents, then talk to your siblings, talk to your aunt, talk to the priest, talk to anyone. Know that people care for you and that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Usually in suicide, it's because they think nobody cares for them. But people do.